Greetings, family. I'm your sister Nefera, and thank you for coming back. I know that I have been gone and that there's been a gap in my posting and sharing and coming in with some of those learning tools from the Keys to Soul Powerhouse. But thank you for coming back and continuing your commitment to support this channel as well as my sharing to support your growth and actualizing your highest possibility as an African. I have realized that there is a need for this work, and I continue to do it despite fighting an uphill battle with our people and circumstances and et cetera, et cetera. But my personal disposition is foundationed in all of solution-based thinking. We can analyze the circumstances. We can talk about what's not working. By the time I come to you and flesh it out, I've already devised solutions for the circumstances, and I'm prepared to go into action. So this is why I continue to come back with the Keys to Soul Powerhouse. It has been my labor of love and my commitment to supporting us as African people becoming fully functional and reanimated Africans and all the complexities that that journey will entail. And I do realize that we don't have the faculties within our society that allows us to come together on a track that provides us with a direct route. There's a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there. So what I've done is I have cataloged my own journey and the pieces that supported me, as we are more alike than we are different. African, having experienced this situation, African people, we're not a monolith. Yes, that's true, but our particular needs are at a baseline all the same, all of us, because we all experience anti-Blackness. And we experience anti-Blackness in other African people, and other skin folk, as self-hatred. And Dr. Joy DeGrew's vacant esteem. And again, two things are happening at the same time. I'm living through these circumstances because I live this work in practice. I don't spend a lot of time focused on what's not working. I make the analysis, I do what I need to do to make the assessment, and I hope that you do the same. But I don't spend a lot of time pondering what's broken. And what I mean by that is it all to make a quick share and give you some updates on a few things, and just thank you for being here with me and continuing on this journey, because I've experienced the experiences and some of them have been extremely hard, and they've been hurtful, and they've caused a number of hiccups, right? However, I continue to persevere because I believe that if I have the heart of purity, and if I have come to a position of a fully functional, reanimated African, and what that means is that my natural default is African centering. Because of the way that we've been taught in this society globally, we don't automatically think about ourselves as a collective unit. We think of ourselves oftentimes in individual perspectives, but that's not functional for healing and for sovereignty for African people. So to be a fully functional, reanimated African, it is to wholly love all the African people, to see the fullest potential of what we have the capacity to create, and to understand that there's a track for us in a unified function to create that outcome. That means that we also think about ourselves without discounting others, but we think about ourselves, our community, our people, and a global body. And it's a healthy thing. It doesn't carry any heavy burdens. It doesn't make you feel uncomfortable, because you have to adjust to the reflexes of being uncomfortable with your whole self. And that part right there in and of itself is a journey. And not the part where it's about your clothes, or it's about your hair, or it's about your talk, or it's about where you travel to, or your books and your scholars. And it's not about those things. All of those are pieces and dots in between, and they're actually really small pieces of the puzzle when it comes to being a fully functional and reanimated African. The biggest piece of being a fully functional, reanimated African is living the work and allowing the energy to inhabit your being to the point that it can be felt by others. Dr. Maya Angelou, our ancestor, said, people forget what you did, people forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. African, we have to go back to feeling. we use a small part of that in our drumming, and that still sits with us in our society with the drum line in rap music and in pop culture, and the drums that are present in all these various cultures. We're African posited all over the world. The drum allows us to ignite a part of that frequency. And if you've ever been to a shut-in service as a Christian or revival night at church, you know when that organ starts going and the drummers start going and everybody is patting their feet, you feel the energy. But I'm here to tell you that that's only a little tip of the iceberg. That doesn't even go close to what's possible for you as an African when you activate your frequency as a fully functioning reanimated African. So my hope is that I can reach out and touch and be a conduit that helps us to evolve in that space. And yes, there is a place for us to feel whole and to feel a sense of pride and happiness within our being, because we carry such, the society, the propaganda has placed on our shoulders and on our heads such a heavy weight of being ourselves is just not enough. So to be able to walk into that space and feel that space without the arrogance, because you're just a being. You're just being. When you're fully functional reanimated African, it just is. It just is. And you walk in that intelligence and it becomes reflexive. I know because I've been told that this bee thinks she's better than us because of it, because they don't understand it. And because I constantly run into people who are misinterpreting this frequency because they have never, ever seen it or experienced it or felt it. So I stay with this work so that I can hopefully be that conduit that helps more of us arrive to that place. And I want to also put a huge push pin in that part around us as a collective. Because when you're a fully functional reanimated African, there is no more self. There is only the group. So therefore, there is no envy, there is no competitiveness, there is no diminishing, there is an assessment, there is analysis, and then there is a strategy to success. And that's where I operate. And I know a lot of our people, I've discovered that we sidestep that part about strategies to success, because in those strategies to success requires you to do something. And for me, the way my mental health and my healing process is built, I have boundaries. So your behavior has to be a certain kind of way in order for us to share space. It has to be. And I do grace. And I do give the benefit of the doubt. But as a community, we have to stand for a sense of standard behavior, of civility, of community, and of love that is unbreakable. And it has to start somewhere. You know, I'm speaking as a lone voice in the woods most times. And I live in a world where I'm constantly misunderstood. Remember, I'm living this work and I'm teaching this work. So I'm living in a world where I'm constantly misunderstood. I walk in spaces and places where there are people that don't understand what it means to be a fully functional skin folk with a lot of accolades, bells and whistles, and ribbons. And because they've never seen a fully functional reanimated African, because their master gave them a acceptable black costume that they're wearing, they believe that they've got there. They believe that they achieved it. I'm humble enough, and I give enough grace to say that I acknowledge you in your process. But let's be very clear. If your energy is showing up like that, you're not there. You're not there. And I have to tell our people, because for the things that I've lived through, for the circumstances, and I don't look like my circumstances, and I've been literally saying this for some time, because the expectation is that Black women just move on and they're okay. Well, I haven't been okay. I haven't been okay for some, probably about 10 years or so. I haven't really been okay. I've been managing, I've been persevering, I've been pushing through, and I've been staying centered. But in all reality, I haven't really been okay. I haven't felt that sense of peace, safety, and connection that I've needed for my own personal development. And being supported has also been a huge issue with other Africans not understanding what it means to be a fully functional reanimated African. So therefore, rhetoricing these cliches and this, conversation that we have in our community, just folksy, oh yeah, go and pray about it, blah, blah, blah. You're going to be all right. Just keep your head up. All of that's foolishness. So this is where Keys to Soar, this particular offering that I have created, it comes to lay, no, we're not doing that. We're doing strategies to success. Systematic strategies to success. Awareness, acceptance, and strategies to success. That's it. I don't need that. And for me, it's been a hindrance for me because being misunderstood and having people compete with, I used to say, I became the litmus test. Yeah, people stand next to me all the time to see how tall they've gotten. It doesn't matter. Accolade, bells and ribbons. It doesn't really matter. We as a people don't really have the math as to what it's going to take for us to get to sovereignty. We don't have the math. I'm not seeing the math. I see a few little tweaky pitch. And me as a Libra and having this this capacity to analyze information is a part of my spiritual gifts and functions, as is my insight and my wisdom. These things have been with me since before I was born. And I began to acknowledge them around 7 or 8 years old. So I've been practicing, and anything you practice, you get good at. So I've practiced these faculties for a very, very long time. And 10 years, 4 hours a day, according to Malcolm Gladwell, is self-mastery. It's mastery of whatever you're practicing. And I've practiced many faculties, along with my formal education that I've gotten from the Matrix, along with my socialization and my travel and study, etc., which I don't even mention unless I need to access it for some particular reason. Because as a fully functional reanimated African, you already matter. None of those things actually add to your worth in our community. Those are some of the things that come across in the various tools and sharing and being that I offer for our community through the Keys to Soar Powerhouse. And we break down, it's a lot of information, it's a lot of intricacies and nuances that I know that we miss. Because we be in our journey. And some of us, we be building and we be trying, and because we've been in crisis management and we haven't taken on the faculty to put a pause, to stop the things, to stop the need for feeling rushed, to stop the need for feeling like we need to catch up. The Matrix keeps us in crisis management, and we are making some decisions that I, having been a growing person in this journey, I'm looking into my landscape to find resources and support, and I didn't find them because everybody is in grapple and gimme and crisis management. So we're not taking the time to love on. So people mistake my kindness and they begin to be abusive to my sharing and because I am the comfort space. See, I realized there was a problem. I assessed, I analyzed, and then I created a strategy to success. And then I became the thing. Be the difference that's different. We're missing safe spaces. We're missing that comfort and that hug space, that space that feels warm and nurturing. Because within my bosom, all that happens is growth. Any and everybody grows from this fertile soil that I have cultivated for decades. And those are my proofs. Those are my African-centered accolades and proofs that growth occurs from within my bosom. And I've nurtured that. And I have to continue to maintenance that space because that is my designation. Teaching is a faculty that I use. Writing and designing textbook. I got some textbooks and things that I've already designed, my COVID projects. I haven't even launched them and put them out into the space because there's other parts that need to occur, support and promotions and different things that need to occur. My beta team for that project, the beta testing, etc. Life be lifing. And the process of doing this work is a journey. And it really does require support. And I definitely do need support. So this is why I've been trying to cultivate this space for Keys to Soar Powerhouse. so that we can build with people who are actually have the intention to grow fully functional, reanimated African. And let's be very clear, there will be people who are not necessarily Africans who will join the Keys of Soul Powerhouse because it can't be stopped until there's a small private space or large private space that we could have that, because there definitely is a time and a space for us alone to support and heal each other. But there will be people from other groups that will join the group, that will join the Facebook group, the YouTube group, and whatever other social medias that I have out there for the Keys of Soul, Instagram, TikTok, etc. Because we are on the planet and we have to cohabitate with others. So fully functional, reanimated African in our maintenancing situation right now doesn't mean that we have the capacity to segregate ourselves. So we must develop a behavior within our community that allows us to be whole while cohabitating with other people and other groups. The African holds that bosom, that space of warmth, security, and safety. We have to mechanize that because that's part of our strength. But others have been using it to disarm us and to harm us. And because we are not strategizing for success, we have allowed ourselves to be manipulated through our natural faculties. And these are some of the things that we break down and we talk about and we fortify. We fortify along our journey of growth and strengthen ourselves. So I'm going to be sharing over the next few videos or so. I got to catch up. I've had some surgeries. The divine design. I'm telling you, when I tell you I'm living this work, I'm living this work. Okay? And there are people who function as faculties against progress, and some of them are malicious, and some of them are human error, and some of them are simply from self-hatred. But we're living and we're actually walking through the world in this work. You know, I don't believe in cliques and groups, and I don't believe in any of that, because those are the things that further diminish our strength, because it's divisive. It brings us apart. So I'm only here for Pan-African, truly what the Pan-African is, which centers around African-centered consciousness, which builds a being and a functional vessel that is a fully functional and reanimated African. Reanimated because in the mind that you have that's been programmed by the Matrix, it's not living. So you need to reanimate. And when you reanimate, you need to reanimate as a fully functional and reanimated African. So family, thank you for coming in. Your sister Nefera. I know I've given you a lot. I went a few places. I hope you follow me. They're always interconnected. There's always a thread that brings these things together. The narrative, the example, and the definition. The narrative, the example, the definition. It's my teaching faculty. And it moves pretty quickly as I'm trying to just get a couple of things in for you to share so that I can preempt the next few videos that you're going to be seeing. So I'm going to be sharing my bariatric journey because I've had bariatric surgery. I'm going to be sharing my fusion surgery because I've had spinal fusion surgery with several of my discs. As I said, I'm living this work. So having lived this work made me a target for malicious behavior towards me, and it costed me a big part of my health. So I'll be sharing that. My good friend out there, one of my sisters, and she inspired me to talk about my workplace bullying experiences. And I've actually had more than once, and they've been under the tutelage of other Black women. So as I said, you see me and I don't look like my circumstances, but I've literally been living the work in real time, taking hits left and right, and handling it from an African-centered, balanced space. And some of it I've had to internalize and work out in other ways to work out and to transmute that energy of frustration and disappointment and sadness. But right now I'm at about, as far as my energy is concerned, I'm at about a 45-50% right about now. And I wanted to just come in because sometimes I have challenges coming in and making my videos because of my emotional, spiritual energy things that are going on. So it falls to my production in other areas. So, and I think we all kind of go through that occasionally unless we have the support systems and we have those individuals that pour into us. I'm thankful for my partner and my husband in my life. He's an amazing support, but we are both living this work together and we have similar experiences functioning in this world through this work. So please continue to travel with me in the Keys to Soul Powerhouse. Continue to grow with me. Continue to contribute. Remember, we are here to stand for the ascending of the African soul and the opening of the African spirit. I say namaste because the divine in me honors and respects the divine in you. And I say sawubona, which is I see you. And the response is gikona, which means I am here. I am here for you, African. Peace, power, and blessings. See you next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment. Let me know how you feel. Lend support. Thank you so much. We'll see you next go round. Peace.